Welcome to part 2 of the battle mechanics video. In part 1, I talked briefly about hero skills. Here, we will take a look at basic attack, and then go into unit attributes and talk about what makes your legion better. Finally, I will share a few strategies that I've tested for choosing the best hero combinations. So, basic attacks. They are done by the troops, and they have the countering effect that you may see in research and equipment. This means that your troops' basic attacks will deal more damage to the troop type that they counter. For example, if your footmen are attacking archers, or cavalry attacking footmen, and these attacks will target the enemy front row squad for the most part, which will contribute to speed up the defeat of that squad. Basic attacks cannot be silenced, but they can be subject to suppress or disarm. When they are dealt, they will trigger your hero's passive skills. On the other hand, they may also trigger some of the enemy counter-attack or healing skills. This depends on the heroes in both formations. So, we have covered the basics of attacks. Now, what makes a legion win or lose the battle? You need to kill more of the enemy troops than they kill you. This can be done in different ways. The simplest way would be to go into the battle with pure offensive formation. If you do that, you will be expecting to kill lots of enemy troops, while suffering some losses from your own as well. Another option is to use heroes with healing skills, and just recover part of whatever the enemy kills, and this recovery can hopefully keep your troop count higher than the enemy's until the end of the battle. This would be a very defensive approach. Similarly, you can set up your formation to have higher resistance so that it can absorb the enemy attacks with lesser damage taken. But you always need to have at least one hero in your legion that can deal lots of damage to the enemy. This hero is usually kept in the last row to protect him from enemy attacks, making the hero last longer in the battle, kill more enemy troops, and hopefully give you the victory. The important thing to keep in mind is to have a legion where your hero skills work together in a good, balanced way without losing effectiveness. There are lots of famous combinations that work very well, but for those of us who don't have all the heroes, we have to work with what we have. So we need to look carefully at hero skills before making the combination. Now remember, while heroes and troops are the elements of the battle, there are lots of other important factors to look at. We can tell a lot about a castle from looking at the unit attributes in the battle report. It is not enough to fill the legion with troops and heroes then jump into a battle. There are 6 attributes that make your legion work besides the hero skills. And here they are. Number 1, Might, or Attack. This is the ability of your troops to deal basic attack damage to the enemy troops. You get troop might from many things in the castle, and I'll mention them here quickly as a reminder. First of all, it depends on troop type, tier, and whether or not they are enhanced. Then you have alliance technology. This adds a slight increase in might if you are in an alliance with good technology. You can also get might from badges, which you may earn at the end of a Clash of Province round. But again, this will not exceed 10%. Your buildings are a good source of might. In particular, the War Rooms and Raiders Hall. These two will give you up to 55%, if you are using one type of troops in the Legion. Then there's your class. This attribute shows buffs from your class type, class cards, and alliance represent. Another source is the Legion equipment, which will give a fair amount that increases with the level of your equipment. Your hero skills also contribute to the might of individual squads and the Legion as a whole. You can get extra might by using an item, or having an official appointment, or being the Emperor. And also by buying privileges from the VIP shop if you have it. Reign of Chaos specialty, active skills and building levels can give a considerable amount of might to you as well. And finally, technology. You will be able to improve your attack under many sections in the Institute. Legion Research, Zone Conflict, Troops Research, Master Warfare and City Defense. Lots of interesting areas to explore and try to improve your attributes. On paper, high-level players can run with over 600% might. This will be ideal if linked with legions that have more dependency on basic attacks to win the battle. Legions that have passive skills and chances of attacking more than once. But this attribute is less important if the legion is heavily based on hero skills, and especially if they don't basic attack at all. Take Living Saint, for example. This S3 cavalry hero will always be disarmed if her 8th skill is unlocked, which means that her troops will not do a basic attack. For that reason, you do not want to link her with a hero that buffs your basic attacks in the same legion. You might as well save some medals by not upgrading her 4th skill. That is, if you have the 8th unlocked. Number 2, Resistance, or Defense. This is very similar to Might. It is related to basic attacks, it can be obtained from similar sources, and it shows how strong and resilient your troops will be when taking damage. The Might and Resistance will have different values if you are attacking a castle, a resource tile, a Reign of Chaos tile, or structure, or if your castle is being attacked. Next, you have the Tactical Might and Tactical Resistance. These are similar to the normal Might and Resistance, but they are related to the ability of troops to inflict and resist damage done by the hero skills. You can increase their values by using better equipment, doing research, and using class cards if you are a raider. Don't forget to level up your garrison halt too. Tactical attributes do not go as high as the normal ones, so any increase should be appreciated, no matter how small. For this reason, I do prioritize tactical class cards over normal Might and Resistance for my own legions. Obviously, you need to be at a high enough level in your class to be able to max out those cards, so be patient and keep doing national quests. Number 5, HP. This is your troops' health. The higher their HP, the more damage they can take in the battle. HP depends on troop type and tier, and can be increased using the skills of certain heroes, equipment, technology, VIP privileges, and by class cards if you are a raider. Being appointed as Legion Master also gives a buff to your HP. Finally, combat speed. This decides who attacks first in the battle. Squads with higher combat speed will attack first, causing damage or debuffs to the enemy and gaining an early advantage. If two squads have the same speed in the same legion, the one on the front will attack first. And if all squads in the battle have similar speed, then the attacking legion will be the first to use skills. Combat speed can be increased using research, hero skills, using better equipment, and upgrading the troops' enhancement camps. Now that we've covered the attributes, it should be on the priority list of everyone to try and improve them for their legions. But what else can be done to increase chances of victory in battles? Let's review some basics and then go into strategies and combinations. Normally, you will need to have as many troops as possible in your legions. This is done by upgrading the training grounds and the 1st and 6th skills of your heroes. You will also need to have as high tier of troops as possible. If you can enhance them, it will be even better. Also try to have at least 4 pieces of equipment of the highest color that you have. The more, the better. You can also activate the buff items, and the active skills of your equipment, heroes and specialty before attacking a castle, to make the attack stronger. The choice of what type of troops you will use will mostly depend on what good seasonal heroes you have in your account. And always remember that you need to focus on developing one main legion first to make it as strong as it can be, before spending items on other legions and heroes. All that I've mentioned so far may sound familiar to you. But what to do if you are in early stages in the game and have few heroes? Here's my tip. battles usually work in such a way that the front rows die first. My philosophy is to accelerate the process by focusing most of the hero skills to target that row. Take this legion for example. If you have Orochi up front, then North Rage, then whatever ranged killer hero that you've got. All the skills of North Rage and possibly Orochi will target the enemy front row based on their range. This means that the front row will collapse sooner and be replaced by the middle row, which will then be the next target. This approach also helps to reduce the amount of damage you take during the battle, because one of the enemy heroes will die quickly. Another advantage of this particular formation is the huge HP value which will come from Orochi and North Rage combined. They are the two heroes in the game that can give HP to the Legion. At later stages, you may want to debuff or silence the enemy heroes, especially the last row. You can also use a defensive tactic by deploying heroes with higher resistance, evasion and healing skills. But as long as you are using normal heroes, my advice would be to try and focus the kills on enemy front row. In one castle, I have North Rage, Dual Blades and Rogue, and I use Dual Blades in Nephont because of her resistance, and because I want the kills of North Rage to be focused on the front row only. This doesn't affect the effectiveness of those two heroes, but you need to check all hero skills and their range before making a deviation from the common combinations, to make sure no skill loses effect. My other tip would be to avoid using 3 killer heroes in the same legion, and to try and have at least one support hero instead. In fact, there are so many variables to play with, depending on what heroes you have and what mentality you adopt for your style. And remember, each battle is unique and has a unique result because of the randomness and uncertainty of casting hero skills. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I will be happy to answer your questions in the comments and in the game. You can see my castle location in the previous video. I have planned my next 3 videos to be on the subjects of KE, National Quest, and 1 recruitment video, but I will be happy to share my experience on any subject you request. Thank you again and have a great day.